Imagine this. You're standing on the banks of the mighty Danube River. The sun has just set behind the Buda Hills, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The stunning Hungarian Parliament building is lit up, glowing like a fairy tale castle. A buzz of excitement fills the air. It's August 20th in Budapest. This isn't just any summer evening. This is Hungary's birthday party, and you are invited. This day is a celebration of more than 1,000 years of history, survival, and vibrant culture. It's a day when the entire nation pauses to remember its origins, and everyone from the smallest village to the grand capital joins in a massive, joyful festival. This isn't just a historical anniversary, it's an experience for all the senses. You can smell the sweet chimney cake-like aroma of freshly baked bread wafting through the streets. You can hear the rhythmic stomp of folk dancers' boots on cobblestone squares, and the proud, soaring notes of the national anthem. You'll see a river of people, draped in the national colors of red, white, and green, all sharing a palpable sense of pride and community. This day is about looking back to the founding of a nation while celebrating everything that makes Hungary unique and resilient today. It's a fantastic opportunity to connect with the local culture on its most important day. The energy is electric. It builds throughout the day, starting with solemn ceremonies and culminating in a spectacular, jaw-dropping fireworks display that explodes over the Danube. To understand August 20th, we need to travel back in time, way back, over 1,000 years ago to the turn of the first millennium. The land we now call Hungary was home to nomadic Magyar tribes who had thundered into the Carpathian Basin from the east. They were fierce warriors, skilled horsemen, and followed their own pagan beliefs. Europe was a patchwork of shifting powers, and these Magyar tribes were seen as a formidable, unpredictable force. This is where our story's hero comes in. Enter a man originally named Vaik. He was the son of the Magyar Grand Prince Geza, a leader who understood that his people's future depended on a major change. Geza realized that to survive and be accepted by the powerful Christian kingdoms of Europe, the Magyars had to adapt. He began to steer his people toward Western Christianity, and he had his son Vaik baptized. Upon his baptism, Vaik took a new name, Stephen, or István in Hungarian. This was more than just a name change. It was a symbol of a monumental shift in destiny for an entire people, a pivot from east to west. When Stephen became the leader around the year 997, he inherited a challenging task. He had to unite the fiercely independent Magyar tribes under one rule and one faith. This was no easy feat. He faced resistance from rival chieftains who clung to the old pagan ways. But Stephen was a determined and visionary ruler. He used a combination of shrewd diplomacy and military strength to establish a unified Christian kingdom. On Christmas Day in the year 1000 or 1001, with a crown sent by the Pope, Stephen was crowned the first king of Hungary. This was the moment the Hungarian state was officially born. King Stephen I was a nation-builder in the truest sense. He established a strong central government, organized the country into counties, and minted the first Hungarian coins. Crucially, he founded churches and monasteries across the land, making Christianity the foundation of his new kingdom. He wasn't just a conqueror, he was a lawmaker and an administrator who laid the groundwork for a state that would endure for centuries. His reign marked Hungary's entry into the family of European nations, transforming a tribal federation into a stable, respected kingdom. He is without a doubt the founding father of Hungary. So why is August 20th the magic date? The story fast-forwards a few decades after King Stephen's death in 1038. His legacy was so profound, so transformative for Hungary, that he came to be seen as more than just a great king. He was viewed as a holy figure, the man who had guided his people to salvation and secured their place in Europe. In the medieval world, official recognition of sainthood was a big deal. It solidified a ruler's legendary status and brought immense prestige to the nation. The process to make Stephen a saint was set in motion by another influential king, Ladislaus I. The official canonization ceremony took place on August 20th, 1083. On this day, King Stephen's tomb was opened in the city of Székesfehérvár, which was then the royal capital of Hungary. According to legend, when they opened the sarcophagus, they found his remains to be incorrupt, a traditional sign of sainthood. This event formally elevated him to Saint Stephen, the patron saint of Hungary. August 20th thus became his official feast day in the church calendar. It was a day of immense religious and national significance, cementing the bond between the Hungarian state and the Christian faith he had established. From that point on, August 20th evolved into a day of national celebration. For centuries, it was primarily a religious feast day, marked by processions and church services honoring Saint Stephen. It was a time for Hungarians to reflect on their identity and the Christian foundations of their country. The date became so intertwined with the idea of the Hungarian state itself that it has been celebrated in one form or another for nearly 1,000 years. Even when Hungary faced immense challenges, from foreign invasions to internal strife, the memory of Saint Stephen and the significance of this date endured as a symbol of national permanence. Today, August 20th is officially known as the Day of the Foundation of the State and Saint Stephen's Day. It's a public holiday that beautifully merges solemn remembrance with joyous celebration. It's a day when Hungarians honor their first king not just as a historical figure, but as the enduring symbol of their nation's resilience, sovereignty, and identity. When you see the festivities, you're witnessing a tradition that has survived empires and ideologies to remain the most important day on the Hungarian calendar. It's a direct link to the very beginnings of the country, celebrated with modern-day gusto and pride. One of the most delicious and symbolic traditions of St. Stephen's Day revolves around bread. This isn't just any loaf, it's the new bread made from the first wheat of the summer harvest. This tradition beautifully connects the founding of the state with the earth and the cycle of life. On August 20th, all across Hungary, from the grandest cathedrals in Budapest to the humblest village churches, a special ceremony takes place, the blessing of the new bread. This ritual symbolizes gratitude for the harvest, the sustenance of the nation, and the continuation of life. It's a powerful and tasty piece of living history. The ceremony is often led by priests and local dignitaries. A large, round loaf, frequently decorated with the national ribbon of red, white, and green, is brought to the altar, or a public square. A prayer of thanks is offered, and the bread is formally blessed. Then comes the best part, the ceremonial first cut. This act signifies that the harvest is complete and its bounty can now be shared by the community. Following the ceremony, slices of the blessed bread are distributed among the people. Taking a piece is considered good luck, a way of partaking in the nation's good fortune for the coming year. This tradition has deep roots. For a land-based society like historic Hungary, the harvest was everything. A good harvest meant survival, while a poor one meant hardship. The new bread was therefore a potent symbol of life and prosperity. By linking this agricultural milestone to the nation's founding day, Hungarians created a powerful annual ritual. It reminds everyone that the nation, like a field of wheat, must be cultivated and cared for to provide for its people. It's a wonderfully earthy and tangible way to celebrate national identity, connecting it directly to the soil under their feet. So, if you find yourself in Hungary on August 20th, be sure to seek out a bread blessing ceremony. You'll often find them happening in the morning, accompanied by folk music and people dressed in traditional costumes. Don't be shy about accepting a slice. As you taste the simple, wholesome flavor of the new bread, you're not just eating food, you're participating in a ritual that's over a century old, connecting with the very soul of Hungarian culture. It's a simple, profound, and delicious way to understand what this day is all about. It's a tradition you can literally sink your teeth into. As evening falls on August 20th, the energy in Budapest reaches a fever pitch. The grand finale of the day is a tradition that is both modern and spectacular, the St. Stephen's Day fireworks. This isn't your average town square display. This is one of Europe's largest and most breathtaking pyrotechnic shows, an event that draws hundreds of thousands of people to the banks of the Danube River. The show, known locally as Tuzi Jatek, is a massive, nationally televised event, and the absolute highlight of the celebration for many Hungarians and visitors alike. It's a must-see. The setting is what makes it truly unforgettable. The fireworks are launched from barges on the Danube, from the historic Chain Bridge, and from Gellert Hill, which looms over the city. This creates a stunning, multi-layered canvas of light and sound. The explosions of color are perfectly choreographed to music, often a mix of classical Hungarian compositions and contemporary scores, that booms from speakers all along the riverbanks. The reflections of the fireworks shimmer on the water's surface, doubling the spectacle. With the illuminated Parliament Buda Castle and the bridges as a backdrop, it's a scene of pure magic. Finding the perfect viewing spot is part of the fun. People start gathering in the afternoon, picnicking on blankets along the riverbanks on both the Buda and Pest sides. The bridges, except for the ones used in the show, are packed with onlookers. Rooftop bars and restaurants with a view are booked months in advance. Many people even take to the water watching the show from dinner cruise boats that dot the river. No matter where you are, you'll be part of a massive, shared experience, oohing and awing with the crowd as each new cascade of light paints the night sky. The fireworks display is more than just entertainment, it's a powerful, modern expression of national pride. The sheer scale and beauty of the show serve as a triumphant exclamation point on the day's celebrations. It's a 21st century tribute to a 1,000-year-old nation, a moment of collective awe and joy that unites everyone watching. As the final grand volley of fireworks crackles and fades, leaving trails of smoke drifting over the Danube, you can feel the energy of the crowd. It's a feeling of pride, happiness, and a shared love for this incredible city and country. It's an experience that will stay with you long after the last spark has vanished. While fireworks and bread are key parts of the celebration, August 20th also has a deeply solemn and spiritual side. This is most powerfully embodied in the procession of the Holy Rite. This is one of Hungary's oldest and most sacred traditions, centered around a revered national relic, the mummified right hand of Saint Stephen himself. This relic, known as the Zent Job, is normally housed in a special chapel inside St. Stephen's Basilica in Budapest. But on this one day, it is brought out and carried through the streets in a grand and reverent procession. The story of the Holy Rite is fascinating. Decades after the king's death, when his tomb was opened in 1083 for his canonization, his right hand was found to be perfectly preserved and was said to hold miraculous powers. It was detached and became a holy relic. Over the centuries, the hand has had a tumultuous history, being moved, hidden, and even stolen. It traveled through what is now Croatia and was held by the Ottoman Turks before finally being returned to Hungary by Empress Maria Theresa in the 18th century. Its survival through a millennium of turmoil is seen by many Hungarians as a symbol of the nation's own survival. The procession itself is a grand affair. It begins in the late afternoon, after a special mass at St. Stephen's Basilica. The Holy Rite, encased in an ornate golden reliquary, is carried aloft by members of the Hungarian State Honor Guard, who are dressed in magnificent ceremonial uniforms. They are followed by high-ranking clergy, government representatives, and members of various historical and religious orders. Thousands of ordinary people line the streets around the basilica, watching in respectful silence or joining the procession as it slowly makes its way through the city center. The atmosphere is one of deep reverence and historical weight. This tradition is a direct, physical link to the nation's founder. It's not just a story from a history book, it's a tangible piece of the past being honored in the present. For believers, it is a moment of profound spiritual connection. For secular Hungarians and visitors, it's a fascinating cultural spectacle, a window into the deep historical and religious roots of the nation. Watching the golden reliquary glint in the afternoon sun as it passes by is to witness a tradition that has endured for centuries, a solemn and moving counterpoint to the more boisterous celebrations of the day. While Budapest hosts the grandest celebrations, August 20th is a truly national holiday, and the spirit of St. Stephen's Day is alive and well all across Hungary. In fact, to get a different and perhaps more intimate feel for the day, it's worth exploring the festivities in smaller towns and villages. Here, the celebrations often focus on local folk traditions, offering a wonderful glimpse into the country's rich cultural tapestry. You'll find communities coming together in town squares for events that feel both authentic and deeply personal, a heartwarming display of local pride. In many towns, especially in regions known for their distinctive folk culture like the Great Hungarian Plain, or the areas around Lake Balaton, the day is filled with folk music and dance. You'll see local troops dressed in stunning, brightly colored and intricately embroidered traditional costumes. These aren't just for show, they represent the specific heritage of that village or region. The air fills with the sounds of violins, timbalom, a hammered dulcimer, and bagpipes as dancers perform energetic, boot-slapping routines that have been passed down through generations. It's a vibrant, living museum of Hungarian culture. Crafts fairs are another major feature of the celebrations outside the capital. The Festival of Folk Arts at Budakeszi is a huge version of this, but smaller towns host their own wonderful markets. Local artisans set up stalls to sell their handmade goods, pottery, leatherwork, wood carvings, lace, and of course, beautifully painted gingerbread. It's a fantastic opportunity to buy a unique, authentic souvenir and to watch craftsmen at work, practicing skills that are a vital part of Hungary's heritage. You can see a potter shaping clay on a wheel or a weaver working at a loom, keeping ancient traditions alive. Of course, no Hungarian celebration is complete without food. Beyond the ceremonial bread, towns and villages host feasts and food festivals. Huge cauldrons of goulash simmer over open fires, the air thick with the delicious smell of paprika. You'll find stalls selling langos, deep-fried dough with toppings kurtoskalax, which is chimney cake, and local wines, and palinka, that's fruit brandy. The day is a chance for communities to share a meal, toast to their nation, and celebrate the harvest. It's this combination of food, music, crafts, and community that makes St. Stephen's Day a truly nationwide party, with a unique local flavor wherever you go. From the solemn blessing of the first bread to the final thunderous burst of fireworks over the Danube, St. Stephen's Day is so much more than just a date on the calendar. It's a day when you can feel the very heartbeat of Hungary. It's a powerful, vibrant, and incredibly moving celebration of a nation that has stood at the crossroads of Europe for over 1,000 years. This day encapsulates the Hungarian spirit, a deep respect for history, a fierce pride in culture, and an infectious joy for life. It's a celebration that manages to be both sacred and a whole lot of fun. What's so special about experiencing August 20th in Hungary is that you're not just a tourist watching from the sidelines. The warmth and pride of the Hungarian people are contagious. You're swept up in the energy of the crowds, invited to share in the traditions, and treated to a spectacular display of what makes this country unique. Whether you're tapping your foot to a folk dance in a small town or gazing up at the sky-splitting fireworks in Budapest, you become part of the celebration. It's an immersive cultural experience that connects you directly to the soul of the nation. The story of St. Stephen is the story of a nation choosing its path, building a home, and holding on to its identity through thick and thin. Celebrating this day is a living, breathing testament to that legacy. It's a reminder that culture is not just something you see in a museum. It's in the taste of freshly baked bread, the sound of music in a public square, and the shared gasp of a crowd watching a sky full of light. It's a day of unity, remembrance, and pure, unadulterated joy. It beautifully balances solemn history with a fantastic national party. So if you're looking for a travel experience that is rich with meaning, excitement, and genuine cultural connection, consider being in Hungary for August 20th. Come and see the Holy Right Hand, taste the cake of Hungary, and find your spot along the Danube. Come and witness 1,000 years of history celebrated in a single, unforgettable day. You won't just see Hungary, you'll feel it. And you'll leave with a deeper appreciation for this resilient and remarkable country, feeling like you've just discovered one of Europe's best-kept secrets. Happy travels!